Hi, I'm Jennifer Janish, owner of Adored Salon and Adored Signature Hand-Tied Hair Extensions. I'm obsessed with curly hair. I cut it, style it, and extend it, and this podcast is all about my curly girl obsessions that stretch far beyond just curly hair. Hey there, it's me, Jennifer, from the Curly Girls Obsessions. Back this week, actually 10 minutes past me ending last week's in my daughter's room. Again, not the greatest backdrop, but honestly, the lighting in here is perfect. But anyways, so let's get to the goods. I said in the last podcast that we're going to talk about how talking about your niche, creating your niche in hair or whatever business it is that you do, what the positives are, some of the drawbacks, some of the things that I've experienced. So, the positives about creating a niche in what you do is that you're going to end up getting that exact client that you want to sit in your chair, and you're going to have so much in common with them while you're doing your hair. There's never going to be a dull moment, right? And that's what I love about the fact that not only am I a hairstylist, but I'm a curly hair specialist. And I know everywhere you look for me, it's everywhere. You can't help but notice it. I mean, even when you see me with my hair, it's an obvious. And with the way my hair is, it's kind of funny. I go to the grocery store and it takes forever to get to the grocery store. So bad so that my husband doesn't even like going to the grocery store with me. So now I order groceries online because one, I spend less money. Two, I don't get stopped as much. Sometimes I'll still go here or there, but there's any time that I go out to any store, there's always a conversation about my hair. And I kind of love it. I mean, I love talking hair. I love talking about curly hair. And if it's my hair that they're complimenting, why not love discussing it, right? And telling them, hello, that I can make their hair look just as good as mine. And they're always like, "No, my hair just it kind of has frizz to it and it really doesn't have much curl." And I'm like, "You're going to be surprised, sister, when you come into my salon and you sit in my chair and I work my magic. Your hair is way curlier than what you think it is. I can already see." And they come in and yes, they're shocked. And if they come in for hair extensions, it's really kind of like the slam dunk, like they're there forever. Because if they had curly, thin hair and they got a row of my hair extensions in, and now they have this thick, amazing hair, they're in love, right? And so that is the benefit of creating a niche. Now, obviously, mine is curly. I said yours, it's probably totally different, and that's perfect because if you can speak to it, you can sell it. And then um, it has opened the doors to so many more opportunities for me, right? Being so deep into curly hair and learning hair extensions. I knew that my clients here needed hair extensions that had texture in them because everybody that was coming into my salon to see me pretty much has some form of wave to kink in their hair. And I love doing extensions, so I need to figure it out. Hence, that's how Adored Signature Hand Tied Hair was born. And lo and behold, when I started out my curly hair journey, I found out that 87% of the world has some form of wave to kink in their hair. So when I started doing hair extensions, it was kind of mind blowing to me that everybody needed straight hair extensions because that's all that was out there to offer. Lucky for us, we worked with a company that um, had the Rolls Royce of hair extensions. Their hair came from India. That was like unheard of, and they had the best quality, and we could get it permed to match our curly clients' hair. We knew early on that that was the case. Texture matching was just as important as color matching, and at that time, we had it permed. And so through the years, I go through different certifications. I understand how to do hand-tied hair. I'm like, "Great. I love hand-tied hair because I'm not taking 12 hours anymore to do an install with K-tips, quarter-inch squares all over the head. I could get the same results in under 3 hours with hand-tied hair charging the same amount. Slam dunk. Win, win all the way around. Work less, make more. Just like I said in my last podcast, it's easier to make more money in a shorter amount of time than it is to make less money over a longer period of time. Hello, and the hand-tied extensions totally did that for me. And also, I just loved hand-tied hair because I wasn't dealing with all the issues that I experienced with K-tips. And so moving forward with hand-tied hair, all of hand-tied hair was straight or permed, and all the hair came from China. If you've listened to me before, you're gonna know she's on her soapbox. Not my favorite choice. So that's what required me to find a supplier in India and source our hand-tied hair from India with naturally textured hair. No perms, steam, or chemical. Because a permed hair extension, in my mind, was way too consistent for my client's hair. And typically the hair is stiffer and it's a little bit compromised because of all the chemical processes it goes through. It's probably pretty compromised because of everything that it goes through, the lightning system, the chemical perms, the yada yada yada. There's a lot that goes on there. So search out an Indian temple hand-tied Remy hair with natural texture. It's like finding a needle in a haystack, but I found it. Okay, so here we are now. 8 years later, a year and a half of testing, 6.5 years of selling worldwide, and I am so ingrained in this niche, right? Like, I am your curly girl who cuts curly hair, and I can extend it, I can thicken it, I can do all the things with naturally textured hand tied hair from India. And that's my niche. Now, when you start talking about India versus China on social media, I feel like your social media channel goes black. I'm like, who's listening? Who's running this? Because I've said the word China 10 million times on Instagram, and I felt like my Instagram accounts were dead. So then I stopped saying the word China, right? Because I was like, oh my gosh, someone is listening to me and this is scaring me. Why is this happening? And when I say black, like zero growth, zero, zero people looking at my stuff, zero people following me, zero, 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 like totally creating a complex in my head. So then I'm like, but you know what? I had a mentor that well, she coached me for the better half of last year and into this year. And it was all around like honing in on my messaging, getting everything right. Her name is Jody Brown. If you guys don't follow her, go follow her. She's amazing. And I think her handle is at I am Jody Brown. And if you need advice, as an educator for marketing your classes, I'm telling you, she's the go-to. She was like, but Jennifer, if that is what you believe, then why do you care? And I'm like, but Jody, I'm not getting any insights. And she's like, I don't think you're not getting any insights because you say China or you say India. I think you're not getting any insights because you're confusing people, because you're trying to soften the blow, right? You're trying to speak to all different kinds of people when all you really should be speaking to is the curly hair specialist who wants to learn how to do hair extensions because you know that's your niche and that's what you can teach to best. And you happen to have naturally textured hand tied hair from India, which in your mind you feel is the best of the best. She's like, and by looking at your hair, it probably is. And so it took me a minute. It even took me a minute after paying for 6 months with her to really, like, hone in on that and actually put that in the marketing on my site. Like, I teach curly hair specialists how to install curly hair extensions, and it scared me because I was like, "This is totally limiting me." The actual truth is that, 1, it's not limiting me, it is opening more doors for me because curly hair specialists who are super serious about what they do also know that there's a ton of curly hair specialists on social media these days doing God only knows what to curly hair, right? And they're like, okay, I really know how to do curly hair and I do curly haircuts all day long, but I want to change it up. I want to add in a new service where I can charge top dollar for it and I can do something different and a little bit elevated from what I'm currently doing. Great. That was my entire New Hampshire class. Um, Everybody wanted to take their curly hair knowledge up to the next level and understand hair extensions. The one person who was in the install class sent me this amazing message, and she's like, when I got certified with this other install method, I put out a post asking for models, and it was crickets. The minute that I said that I do curly hair extensions and that I needed a model, my phone is blowing up. Why? Because it's totally different from the norm. Yes, it's totally different from the norm. Made me super happy, right? And I thought, this is great. And I still to this day have to keep telling myself to stay focused, to stay in my niche and move forward. Right. And if someone who only does straight hair, but wants to open up their horizons and understand curly hair, the fact that I say I teach curly hair specialists how to install curly hair extensions is probably only going to draw them in more because they're going to be like, this girl knows her shit right? At the end of the day. Now, here's the backlash. When 99% of the world's hair extensions come from China, India is the world's largest hair supplier because of the Hindu religion and the population in India. The Hindu religion believes in a religious act called tansaring. It's where they go to the temples and they sacrifice their hair to their gods, be it better health, wealth, coming of age, all the things. They do this knowing full well that the temple is going to sell their hair and that the temple is going to put the money back into the community or to the temple. And it's a win win, right? Like, because the world wants hair extensions and they're willing to sell it. So, India is the world's largest hair supplier. China is the world's largest hair manufacturer. And so, China does buy hair from India and they make some hair extensions with it a lot. And they also have their own hair from wherever they get it. And so it all becomes very interesting, right? And when you're the lone ranger or you're the person pioneering something and there's not a lot of people out there that are doing it, you're also going to get some hate. And interestingly enough, um I will get stuff in my DMs that'll challenge like my knowledge. And I will get customer service stuff in my DMs from the extension line that will also challenge my knowledge. And it becomes like you try not to let yourself get drawn into it because you're like, this is not going to go anywhere good. Um, you know what? You know, if you followed the directions, this shit wouldn't be going down with these hair extensions. And right? Whatever. So you try to like walk the line, be really nice about it. But the truth of the matter is is that at the end of the day, like, some things are and some things just aren't. And when it comes to the hate, it's really real. So in the last podcast, I talked about how we went to New Hampshire and we trained Chloe and I, and then we stayed up late working because we're doing this online program through a company called Boss Babe. The the program's called Freedom Fast Track. If you've known about it and you would like to get involved in it, I highly recommend it. I stalled on this for 4 years, and now that I'm halfway through, I'm totally kicking myself that I did, because someone said to me that I shouldn't take it, that I probably could find this stuff on the internet, this, here, that, the other, but no, the answer is no. um, because if you train with someone who knows exactly what they're doing, you will go further faster. I truly believe that with my own stuff, and I believe it with this stuff. So, regardless, so we just had the New Hampshire class. Chloe and I get back. We've got all these ideas. We sit down to brainstorm after we ate dinner, and we create this survey for the extension line. And I'm super stoked about it. Like, we're asking all the questions about all the things: hand tied hair, K tips, this, that, the other, like permed hair, non permed hair. Where do you get your I don't think we asked where you get your extensions from. But regardless, like, we talk about all the things. And, the email, I think, went out the day after we got back, and then shortly after that, we started getting responses, and Chloe calls me and she's like, "Have you seen all the responses to the survey?" And I'm like, "No, did they start coming in? This is awesome." And she's like, "Yeah, they started coming in." She's like, "But there's one that I just gotta warn you about, like, it's gonna be a rough one for you to read." And I'm like, "What?" And, so I go back, I read it, and interestingly enough, I was called an online bully in a survey where we did not ask about this. Nowhere did it ask about me or my personality. We were talking about hair extensions. So, where am I going with this? The term the online bully, I think it comes from the fact that because I've been doing extensions so long and curly hair, I have very strong beliefs on how it goes down, right? And that comes from trial and error. That comes from trying a lot of other things out that didn't work to get to the point where I know what works. And I know it so well that I educate on it. Okay. And if I come off as a bully, maybe I do. I don't know. Um, but I mean, when you're strongly opinionated about something, or opinionated probably isn't even the right word, because it's factual, the things that I talk about. It's factual. It's factual for me to talk about curly hair and hair extensions. It's factual for me to talk about where hair extensions come from in China and where hair extensions come from in India. And honestly, I don't sugarcoat it. And maybe that's where it looks like the online bully, because everybody likes you as long as you're speaking their game. The minute you start to do something different is where you meet resistance. How does this go back to niching down and the things that it'll do for you? Because when you start to niche down, sometimes within a salon atmosphere, it may not always be accepted, because some people might think that you're trying to be better than them or do something that's kind of stepping on their toes. And why that exists there, it's like so interesting to me, right? Because everybody's always wanting to get ahead, right? But it's because, I don't know, like, it's competition and it becomes threatening. I don't know. Like, we're all in this to learn something. And through the years of working with hair extensions, dealing with hair extensions that were from India, dealing with hair extensions that were from China, knowing what my clients said about both have created this strong information influx into me about the quality of what I install into my clients' hair. And so if it's perceived as an online bully, then so be it. Because guess what? A lot of people that do straight hair extensions also are online bullies because that's what they believe. And I think that that term is like thrown around just to make people second guess what they do. Because I will tell you, like, it did kind of send me in a tailspin for a minute. It did kind of make me stop and question the way that I was posting. It did stop and make me question, like, what have I said in the past? What have I said on here? And you know what? I come from good background. My mom would never have made anybody feel bad for anything except for her own children when she was disciplining them. But we were taught from an early age, you don't leave people out and you don't make them feel less than you. So I really had to sit there and think about that and think to myself, okay, did I do this? No, I didn't. All I do is talk about my product and what I believe that makes it so great. And as a business owner, I think that that's only natural, right? Like you've spent all your time and energy building this thing up, making it what it is. And if you're the hairstylist in a hair salon behind the chair, doing something different from the norm because you want to get ahead, because you want to make your clients' experience all that much better, don't stop because the haters are going to hate. And the lovers, they're going to freaking embrace you and be your loudest like cheerleader, getting you more clients in the door because they love what you're doing. And that's what speaks volumes. That is what pushes you over the edge. So, yeah, if you send out a survey, just know you will potentially get some crazy kind of backlash. If you put it out there on social and anybody can answer it, it is what it is. But I'm going to be here to tell you that the niche that I created, curly hair and curly hand tied hair extensions, I believe are the absolute best because our hair comes from India, which is sourced ethically from the temples in India where people go to sacrifice their hair willingly. Willingly is the key word here. Then you've got the method of install, hand tied. I have done so many messages, um, or I have done so many extension types throughout the years that I've landed in a spot where I know what works and what doesn't work. I know what's going to be the most lucrative. And, I talk about money a lot on here, and it's not because I'm money hungry. It's because this is my job and it's a career, it's not a hobby. And so you're going to do the things at the price point that you want to charge to get to the income level that you want to be at, right? I'm not going to sit there for 15 hours installing tiny little squares, tiny little sections of extensions that, in my mind's eye, create more damage over time because I did them for quite a long time. And now my eyes can't even do it anymore. So it's just a no go. And I just don't like doing them. So I landed into the hand tied world because I knew that I wanted to go there. I knew that what I was delivering previously wasn't holding up my end of the bargain that I wanted it to. I wanted to do a install method for my clients that was safe and did not break their hair. And extensions get a really bad rap for that. And it's understandable why, because there's a lot of extension artists out there who've gotten their training on YouTube, or there's a lot of extension methods that aren't necessarily super safe for your hair. So when it comes to the adored signature methods, there's zero over directions, there's minimal attachments. All of these things help with the health of the natural hair and the scalp. When all of those things are in place, zero over direction, minimal attachments on the head, it decreases the probability of breakage. And at the end of the day, your clients are trying to grow out their hair long so that eventually they don't have to wear hair extensions. So they think, but they love the hair extensions. They're always going to have a row once they have a row because it makes their hair feel amazing and look amazing. But the truth of it is sometimes they go from 3 rows to 2 rows and from 2 rows to 1 row. And that is only possible through a method that is safe for your hair and your scalp, right? So hence where I have fallen on my install method that I do think is heads and tails above the rest, especially when it comes to textured hair. And we have a foundational method with two variations, depending on the texture of the hair, depending on the thickness of the hair and the strength of the hair. Like all of these things are a spiral effect, a domino effect into each other as to why they work. And then comes the cutting and the styling technique. I was told once from someone I paid as a coach that my after photos basically sucked. And I'm like, well, I don't think that you understand because when you do curly hair, the first 2 days, if not three, the hair is like set in a set, and then it breaks apart over time and lasts anywhere from 7 to 10 days, and it gets fuller. And that person was like, "Yeah, well, when you see curly hair online, this is what you see." And she sent me these photos, and I was like, yeah, that's not what extensions look like. That that's not reality. And I'm not going to feed my clients or these students a line of bullshit when it comes to curly hair and curly hair extensions. I'm going to teach them what the hair is going to look like at all stages of the game. And it does come with a flattened look in the beginning. It's just the way it is. She's like, well, you need to make your clients come back in 2 days or whatever and get those after photos. That's actually kind of hard when they usually don't live here. A lot of my clients fly in for their appointments. I've done the selfie route with them, I've done the things. Um, but at the end of the day, I have to just be like, okay, this is what a curly install looks like on the front end. This is what a curly install is looking like when they leave the salon with styled dry hair. If I break it apart too much, the style's not going to last as long for them. And yeah, that that mentorship actually kind of sucked. But it is what it is, right? Like that's the things that go on. Is when people don't fully understand something, they can't really coach you about it because it's just it's it's not the way things go. And with curly hair, I know what I know to be true. I know how it works, and same with extensions. And so, creating that niche, going further faster with people who understand you and want to help you create that clear messaging, great, because they're going to help you produce raving fans who get you tons of clients. As far as the hate goes, there's always going to be haters out there. There's people who live to do it. And honestly, sometimes the hate can be your best friend. It could skyrocket your engagement. And so be it, right? Like it's just is what it is. So you've got to be ready when you do decide to niche down, when you do decide to step out of the current box that you're in. And sometimes it gets a little bit scary. But in order to grow, you've got to walk through the fear. You've got to do the things to put one foot in front of the other so that you could get ahead of where you are today. Um, if you're interested in learning about curly hair extensions, I have a class called the Curl Tour. We have 3 dates coming up this year. Two are in Chicago and one is in Australia. Super excited about that. Anyways, if you're a salon that wants us to come to you and teach you all the things, you can send me a DM on Instagram or you can send me an email at jennifer@adoredhairextensions.com and I can give you the details about being a host salon. But furthermore, if you're interested in the numbers behind curly hair extensions or just hair extensions, you could go to my personal page on Instagram at Jennifer_Johnson_Janish and comment the word numbers to any post, and it's going to shoot you back a whole playbook that I made about the numbers behind hair extensions and what it looks like to incorporate curly hair extensions too. And these numbers in this book are super conservative. Um, they're just the baseline of where hair extensions are, and it tells you how many clients you need to create a full book of business with hair extensions. And it tells you the dollar amount at the end. It also tells you how many days behind the chair, how many hours behind the chair to get to that desired dollar amount. So if that's something you're interested in, go to Jennifer_Johnson_Janish and comment the word numbers on Instagram to any of my posts, and I'll send that right over to you. If you don't already follow me, follow me. If you don't subscribe to the podcast, subscribe. And if you want to follow the salon, Adored Salon, or adored_signature_hand tied_hair, that's the extension line. And you can find all the good things there. Um, yeah. So go out, create your niche, find your thing, and let it level up your life like it's never done before. And forget about those haters. They just kind of suck anyway. They're not in your future, and you need to look the other way. So, chat for now. See you later. Oh my god, it's actually crazy that I kind of just stumbled over my words. It's because all these notifications keep coming into my phone that I got to take my daughter to her soccer game. So, hope you have an awesome afternoon, and I'll see you next time on the Curly Girls Obsessions.